So I'm just starting to enjoy life again, you know, in a sense. So by coming onto your program, could I say it? And yes, I will. I'm getting my life back, and I'm getting to do the things that I always had so much pleasure in doing. That you know, instead of sitting there wondering what it was like and will it ever happen again and so forth, and that wallowing in all of that. Actually, now I'm enthusiastic to be able to move on, and I think your help and certainly and Damien, obviously on the weekly basis, has driven me to change my mind in how I look at things and etc. It's been invaluable. Hello, I'm Richard Cox. I retired from my day job just over 12 months ago, partly in furlough due to the COVID. I do keep myself occupied, being a local councillor. I've been on the district council in Lichfield for the last 18 years, and yesterday I was formally elected following Thursday's elections to Staffordshire County Council. So I shall be well occupied and busy in retirement, but that's what retirement's about, doing things you actually want to do rather than things what you have to do. So I'm looking forward to that. So, 58 years of age in September, so all going good, I suppose.
Great. Well, Richard, thank you. I know we chatted very briefly before this call now, but thank you again for agreeing to come on board and giving us an overview as to your experience with us. Richard, obviously we've achieved so much in the last 16 weeks, but what would be quite useful would be, can you give us an overview, Richard, as to what made you want to come on board the program and what you were maybe struggling with before working with us?
Yeah, I've struggled with weight for a very, very long time. This is not the first time I'd been up to a significant weight before, and 20 years ago, so I was quite heavy, and I realised this wasn't very good, and I managed to self-discipline, but of course I was a lot younger. I felt that I could do things for myself and so forth. But as the years progressed, what weight I lost all came back on, plus. And that plus was January the 1st of this year. On the scales, I used the Imperial. I was 20 stone and 7 pounds, a few ounces, I suppose. And I just thought, how have I got to this? Because I'm at the wrong age, and I'm going to struggle now to try and sort it out at being 57. My wife and I had been on a program with Slimming World. I was struggling with that. I think at first, when I first joined it 2 years ago, it seemed okay, but it just wasn't what I felt was creating a sustainable process. But what you've been able to do is put me onto a program that is, in my mind, is what, and the objective was sustainable, that we change our lifestyle and our way of thinking, how you prepare food, what type of foods you're preparing, etc. So it gave me a different mindset, Matt. It really has.
I think that's a testament to your hard work, Richard, that you put in as well. And it's great to see the progress you have made. What types of things, Richard, have you noticed now within yourself and like what you're capable of doing, like on a daily basis, compared to what you were able to do before?
Well, certainly, I'm getting to the stage now where clothes are getting a bit baggier.
Yeah.
I will be going back to swimming because swimming was another passion of mine. Hockey, I've been invited to play for the veterans again, so actually I'm getting to that stage where I can start doing the things that I was really doing before I had to stop as well with when I had my problems with my hip.
Yeah.
So
I think thinking back to our call originally, Richard, whenever we first had communication, the discussion between us was you felt that your fitness or your lack of maybe at the time was potentially going to affect your health if you didn't do something about it. And I mean, like from that side of things, because that's also equally as important, how do you feel like from a health perspective things have changed for you?
oh gosh, I'd have to say that I'm not there yet, but I already know that I feel, certainly in my mind, as we had that call, I was also depression and so forth, and that seems to be a lot better because of my self-esteem is much better, and and I've got more confidence in everything else that's going forward. So I'm just starting to enjoy life again, in a sense. So by coming onto your program, could I say it? And yes, I will. I'm getting my life back, and I'm getting to do the things that I always had so much pleasure in doing. That instead of sitting there wondering what it was like and will it ever happen again and so forth, and that wallowing in all of that, actually now I'm enthusiastic to be able to move on. And I think your help, and certainly and Damien obviously on the weekly basis has driven me to change my mind in how I look at things and etc. It's been invaluable, which I
Great.
thank you.
No, our pleasure, Richard. You've been a pleasant client to work with, and just for anyone watching this, Richard was a client that came on board and had never really had any experience with coaching before, and naturally, with a lot of people I speak to on the phone, a little bit skeptical maybe, but he's came in and he's achieved so much, and we couldn't be happier for him. Richard, for someone who maybe is watching this and maybe is a little bit skeptical, they're maybe sitting on the fence deciding whether to work with us or not, what would you say to someone like that?
I think the way that I approached it, that and it is actually a blunt situation, is that you said to me right at the end, what price do you actually put on your life? Well, your life is priceless. So whatever monetary terms, and as long as one can afford it, that actually, you've got to do it.
Absolutely, I couldn't have summed it up better myself, Richard. You sound like one of our coaches. You're just going to get into Damien too much.
well, again, if that is the case, then it's worked. I wouldn't consider, you've not brainwashed me at all, but you've made me think how you should approach things, and things can only get better.
And Richard, again, we really appreciate you coming on board and I guess trusting us in helping you achieve this. You've been a pleasure to work with, and I'm sure we're going to stay in touch for the future as well. So thank you again for your time today.
Thank you, Matt, and really it is me thanking you, and Damien, I suppose, to be my weekly coach and so forth. I couldn't have done this without you. I really mean that, and that goes back to what I've said earlier. Absolutely. So it's a big thank you from me.
Our pleasure, Richard. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Oh, cheers, thank you.